There's a great advantage to scanning artwork into the computer because you can bring that artwork into Toom Studio as vector artwork. In other words, you could bring in artwork that you created by hand on paper and then with a marker or a brush inked in carefully, and then bring that artwork into this application as if though you used the brush tool or any of the drawing tools to create it. Of course, sometimes you're going to have to tweak it a little bit, but there are options that will help you to bring in your artwork in pretty much the way you want to. And we'll talk about those just in a minute. So first of all, let's go ahead and bring a drawing in. I'm going to click in a blank cell here, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to choose Import and Vectorize, as you see here. And I'm going to choose from File. So I'm going to locate on my computer a file that I want to bring in to vectorize. So I'm going to choose my Stormblade folder, which is one of my characters. And let's see, I'll go ahead and choose, let's see which one here. I have a file of this character that's a TIFF. Here it is. This is the character. And it's a static image. That means there are no vector lines. I can't pull and stretch and refine this in any way. It's just as I drew it. So I'm going to go ahead and open that. And then the Import and Vectorize Settings dialog box appears. And you have a few options to choose from. You have, first of all, you have no filter, which won't do anything at all but try to bring it in as close as it can. Then you also have smoothing and a loss of sharpness. Now this is what you choose if you have some thin lines in your image. And what this will do is it will blur the lines a little bit so that the vectorizing process, or rather the vectorization process, let me go ahead and get that word right first of all. I need coffee. Will come in a little bit more clearly. Now, if the lines in your image are extremely thin, then you want to choose this option instead. And this will blur it a little bit more so that more of the lines are transformed during the process. And if you have thick lines, then what you want to choose is the Edge Enhancement option, and this will merge the fine lines together and try to create a cleaner object for you. And then you have Sharpening with Clearness. And what this will do is it will sharpen the edges so that you can have better detail in your images. So what we're going to do at this point is I'm going to choose, since I think my image has some thin lines but not too thin, I'll choose Smoothing and Loss of Sharpness. And then I'll try it again in a second. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. And it's pretty fast. And as you see here, the character is brought in. Let me scroll down a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose one of my tools here. I moved it down too much, so let's go ahead and move that up a little bit. Let's give it a second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose one of the contour tools here. Watch this. And I'm going to click on his armor. And that is an area that can actually be filled with color. So I'll grab my paint bucket and I'll click. See that? That is the beauty of doing this technique. Now, here's what I suggest. When you draw your artwork on paper, make sure you close as many of your lines as possible. In other words, make believe it's a coloring book picture. You don't want to have any gaps in your drawing. So if you're going to draw a shape like this armor here, completely close it with a black outline so that the import process can see that is a closed shape. That way, when you click on things, you'll be able to fill it in with color instead of having it just flow everywhere. So it's very important. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually try this one more time. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. And I'm going to do this again using a tighter option and see if we get a better result. So I'm going to choose Stormblade again, the TIFF file. I'll choose, I don't want to bring this one, it's a little too large, 4.1 megabytes. I'm going to click Open. And this time we're going to go ahead and choose Smoothing and Greater Loss of Sharpness. We'll click OK. And we'll see if we're able to get a better result here. And I have a gap there. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You don't want to have a gap like that, because when you click, you're going to go around and get the whole shape. So it looks like our first option was the better option, in this case, the smoothing and loss of sharpness. So there really is no right or wrong. This is all experimentation. So based on your drawing style, make sure you choose the import process that is going to bring your artwork in with the best clarity. Also, what you can do is play around with some of the threshold percentages as well to see how the artwork comes in. Once again, there's no right or wrong. This is all hit or miss, especially when, my drawing style is going to be different from your drawing style. So, I use generally thick lines. You might use very thin lines. So just play around and experiment and see what works for you.